Have you ever let a moment of anger ruin your entire day? A harsh word, an insult, and suddenly your emotions take over, leaving you lost and saying things you regret later. Why do we lose control so easily when emotions flare up? More importantly, how do we regain that control? Stoics believe that the real battlefield is your mind, not others or your circumstances. They teach that true strength isn't in overreacting, but in choosing not to react at all. Opt for calm over chaos, and refuse to give away your peace to those who don't deserve it. This video will show you how to never get angry or frustrated again, not by suppressing emotions, but by reshaping your responses. You'll learn practical techniques, proven through time, to pause before reacting, detach from harmful triggers, and master your emotions like a warrior of the mind. Facing challenges doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. Every man has felt anger and disrespect, but few know how to rise above it. This is your turning point. If you've ever felt drained by your emotions running wild, this is for you. Like this video, subscribe for more Stoic strategies, and share it with anyone who needs to reclaim their inner calm. Understanding Stoicism means not just controlling anger, but becoming untouchable. That changes everything. First, see emotional outbursts as habits you can break. You weren't born angry. You weren't born snapping at strangers, slamming doors, or replaying arguments for hours. Those reactions, now mistaken for instinct, were learned over years of stress, wounded pride, and a world that tells men to be tough, loud, and dominant. But real strength is silent. It's the quiet power. The strongest man in the room is the one who doesn't blink, doesn't snap back rudely, and doesn't let small things shatter his peace. Anger isn't just a feeling, it's a habit, and like any habit, it can be broken. But first, you must see its true nature, a chain reaction fueled by the energy you keep giving it. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Your boss belittles you. A loved one says something sharp, and before your brain processes it, your mouth fires back. That's the loop. Most men stay trapped in that cycle their whole lives, thinking it's who they really are. But Stoics see it differently. They don't treat anger as a character trait. They recognize it as disguised weakness. Epictetus said, "He who is angry is a slave to anger." It sounds harsh, but it's true. When you react blindly, you hand over your power to whatever provoked you. You become predictable, easy to manipulate, and emotionally drained. Imagine this. You're standing in line at the DMV, waiting for an hour. Someone cuts in front of you brazenly. Anger rises. Your chest tightens. Your jaw clenches. The urge to shout back is strong. That moment is your battlefield. You can keep fighting the losing war, or you can pause and ask yourself a simple question. Does anger fix anything? You know the answer. You've gotten mad before. And what did it bring? Only stress, regret, and distance from the man you want to be. This is where Stoicism changes the game. You don't need to suppress your feelings, you need to step beyond them. Think of emotions as clouds drifting across the sky. Notice them, but don't let them steer your course. Your mind, the rational self, is the driver. That's the power Stoics build through discipline. Most men believe their anger is justified, proof they care. They think staying calm is weakness or indifference. The The truth is quite the opposite. Anger is easy. What's hard and demands discipline, maturity, and true grit is maintaining calm when everything around you tries to shake you. When someone disrespects you and you don't flinch, that's real power. When life throws chaos your way and you stand firm, that's control. So next time anger wells up inside, what do? You stop, breathe, remind yourself, this anger is a habit, I don't have to carry it anymore. Then walk away, not because you're weak, but because you're strong enough to save your energy for what matters. You're not here to be provoked. You're here to reclaim your power. That starts not with changing the world, but with changing how you respond. Respond like a man who masters his mind. Respond like a Stoic. Second, control yourself instead of trying to control others. Many men explode, shout, kick, or storm out when offended. They fight back to regain power. But that power is an illusion, quick to flare, quick to fade, leaving you weaker than before. True control doesn't come from overpowering others. It comes from mastering yourself in the heat of anger. Anger deceives you. It tells you that if you don't react, you're weak. That if someone pushes you, you must push back harder. Silence means surrender. But think again. How many times has anger truly solved anything? You yell. They yell louder. You prove your point, but lose the relationship. You win the argument, but lose sleep over what was said. In the end, you feel drained because you never truly controlled the situation. You were only reacting. Now, imagine this. You're in a company meeting. Your manager unfairly criticizes your idea in front of the whole team, even arrogantly. You feel anger rising. Every part of you wants to respond, defend your honor, shoot him down. But something holds you back. An inner voice whispers, if I respond now, things will only get worse. So you pause, breathe deeply. You say, thank you for the feedback. I will review it. Then you move on. Later, in private, you speak with clarity, not emotion. This is control. This is strength. This is the Stoic spirit. Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realizing this, you discover true strength. Stoics don't let ego run the show. They choose thoughtful responses over impulsive reactions, clarity over chaos. They grasp what many men still miss: trying to control others is a losing game. What you can control and always will is how you choose to show up. Many men mistake silence for weakness, thinking walking away diminishes their masculinity. But consider the last time someone lost control in front of you. Did you respect them more? Or did they lose authority in your eyes? Anger screams. Respect is quiet. When you stay calm in the face of provocation, you become untouchable. And that unsettles others far more than shouting ever could. The Stoic path doesn't mean never speaking up. It means choosing when and how to speak, not in anger. When you learn to delay reaction until your emotions settle, you create space. And in that space, wisdom emerges. You make clearer, stronger decisions. You hold your dignity firm. Next time someone insults you, don't take the bait. They may act petty, but you stand strong, not because you're afraid to respond, but because you refuse to be dragged into their storm. You rise above it, not for them, but for yourself. That is true control. Control isn't about having the last word. It's about owning the final moment. Start today. Don't try to control the whole room. Control your breath, your words, your expressions, your energy. You will walk away from conflicts with something many men never find: your dignity intact. And that is a victory no one can steal. Third, build calmness like a muscle through daily practice. You cannot expect to be calm in chaos if you've never trained your silence. This is where many men fail. They wait until anger, offense, or overwhelm hits before trying to control themselves. But emotional strength doesn't switch on at will. It's forged, earned, built in quiet moments no one sees. Just as your body can't be strong without regular workouts, your mind won't hold steady under pressure without daily training. Mastery of self is no on-off switch. It's a skill you sharpen. Think of a man who's never lifted weights. He walks into a gym, tries to lift 300 pounds, and gets crushed. Emotions work the same. If you've never practiced stopping, breathing, enduring discomfort instead of reacting, the first heavy blow life delivers will knock you down. Not because you're weak, but because you're untrained. Now imagine this. You come home after a long day. Your child spills juice on your laptop. Your instinct is to shout, but something makes you pause. You've practiced this. Instead of reacting, you stop, breathe, say, "We'll clean it up." That moment seems small, but it's not. It's a workout. It's strength in action. And that training will hold you steady through far bigger storms. Stoicism isn't a philosophy for monks on mountaintops. It's built for real life, for soldiers, leaders, workers, fathers, men, surrounded by pressure, noise, and conflict. It teaches that peace isn't found in isolation. Peace comes from training your mind to stay silent amid the storm. And that journey begins with the smallest things: rising early to reflect, journaling before sleep, choosing silence over sarcasm when annoyed. These aren't empty rituals. They're exercises for your soul. Many men mistakenly wait for fire to prove they're calm. But that's backward. Preparation comes first. You build habits that deepen focus, steady your breath, and sharpen your awareness. Because when pressure hits, you don't rise to the event. You fall to the level of your training. The Stoics understood this deeply. Marcus Aurelius recorded daily what frustrated him, the challenges he faced, and how to respond better the next day. Not out of weakness, but because he sought greater strength. Epictetus, once a slave, taught that discipline doesn't start with grand actions, but with mastering your daily thoughts and emotions. They honed calmness as a habit, not a fleeting reaction. If you want to stop losing control every time things go wrong, start preparing before the storm hits. Sit with discomfort instead of running from it. Notice your breath before you speak. Reflect at day's end, even for 5 minutes. These small acts are the foundation of emotional strength. These are your emotional workouts. No one is born calm, and no one wakes with perfect self-control. But a man committed to steady practice becomes unshakable. You build calmness like anything else through effort, repetition, and time. Don't wait for the world to test you. Challenge yourself daily. The man who cultivates peace in quiet moments will stand firm when chaos hits. 4. Release what does not serve you. You planned your day, wake early. Hit the gym. Finish work. Feel in control. Then traffic snarls. A meeting gets cancelled last minute. Your boss piles on extra tasks without warning. Plan crumble. Frustration rises fast. The tightness in your chest, the burn in your throat aren't caused by the event itself. They come from resisting it. You're not angry because things changed. You're angry because you thought they wouldn't. But the world doesn't care about your schedule. Life shifts without asking, and the tighter you cling to how you want things to go, the more you suffer. This isn't weakness, it's attachment. Unchecked attachment becomes a trap. A man who needs perfection to stay calm will never find peace. Letting go isn't giving up, it's knowing what isn't worth holding on to. It's learning to distinguish what's in your hands from what slips beyond control. No matter how tight your grip, the Stoics understood this better than anyone. They don't waste energy on traffic jams, rude people, or disrupted plans. They invest their strength where they truly have power, character, mindset, and response. So when something disrupts your day, don't react immediately. Step back. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If not, don't pour energy into it. Let it pass like a passing storm. You're not ignoring it. You're choosing not to be swept away. That is discipline. A common mistake among men is thinking control means forcing everything their way. True control is adaptability. Strength isn't making the world bend. It's holding steady when it refuses. That's why Stoicism isn't passivity but precision. It doesn't mean caring less. It means not wasting effort on what cannot change. Picture yourself in a parking lot. A stranger backs into your car, leaving a dent, then shrugs it off like it's nothing. You want to lash out, demand justice. But after the initial surge, you pose. Will anger fix the dent? Make him care more? No. So you handle the paperwork calmly. You conserve your energy and drive away not just with a dented bumper, but with your dignity intact. That's the real victory. Not because you forgive him, but because you refuse to let him steal more than a piece of metal. He doesn't take your peace, quiet night, or health. You keep them all, because you know how to let go of what's not worth holding. The Stoic strength isn't loud. It's not clinging, it's release. And within that release lies true control. So regularly ask yourself, is this worth holding on to? If not, let it go. The man who knows what to keep and what to release won't rage over every storm. He walks through storms with calm, clarity, and resolve. And that man, even amid chaos, remains master of himself. 5. Turn conflict into a test of your character. You can't avoid conflict. As long as you live, work, connect, and build, someone will challenge you, misunderstand you, speak ill, or push your limits. That's life. But most men approach conflict emotionally as a threat to pride. A chance to win or prove something. They get tense, loud, and try to overpower. In doing so, they miss the true nature of conflict. It's not a threat to your power, but a mirror reflecting it. Conflict reveals where you lack control, where ego still rules. You remain a slave to others' opinions. So Stoics see every clash, insult, and injustice, not as a problem, but as training. They believe life constantly offers challenges, opportunities to sharpen the mind by refusing to be swept away by noise. Imagine that. You're standing at the hardware store counter. Patiently, you wait as the clerk helps another customer. Then someone behind you pushes forward, waving a receipt, demanding to be served first. He raises his voice. Heads turn, and there you stand, heart racing, jaw tight, ready to erupt. But you don't. Instead, you retreat inward. You ask yourself, what's truly threatened here? My time, my pride, or my peace? In that moment, you choose not to surrender, but to rise above. This is not weakness. It's power wielded with precision. Too many men confuse calmness with submission. Staying silent doesn't mean letting others crush you, but losing control to your emotions, that's real defeat. The Stoic doesn't shy away from conflict. He simply refuses to be ruled by it. He speaks when needed, never with anger. His words carry weight because he knows the only thing worse than disrespect is lowering himself to deserve it. Each challenge becomes a test, not of who's right or wrong, but who commands the moment. Conflict turns from a battlefield into a training ground. You stop wasting energy on petty disputes. You refuse to let small-minded people shrink your world. Instead, you use every moment to fortify your strength. Marcus Aurelius lived by these principles. He led an empire through betrayal, war, and politics, yet chose serenity. He didn't seek revenge. He pursued integrity, knowing each interaction was a chance to practice self-mastery, not once, but every day. Men who live this way don't just endure conflict, they walk through it unshaken and unscarred. Next time someone tests your patience, try this. Instead of reacting with anger, hold your silence. Instead of proving a point, conserve your energy. Don't let their chaos become yours. Become the calm they cannot touch, not to impress or be liked, but because you have trained yourself to rise above what isn't worth your fall. You're not here to react to every insult. You're here to sharpen your character. Every conflict is a chance to do just that. Respond with control. That's how you win. Each time, you prove something far greater than dominance. You prove mastery over the toughest battlefield yourself. 6. Be present. It's your imagination that stirs your anger, not the moment itself. Your mind races ahead or dwells on the past. You're not mad because of what someone said. You're mad because of the meaning you assign. What might come next? What it says about you? Or what you should have said? The noise inside your head. That noise is the root of most of your pain. Until you learn to stop living in past or future, you'll keep losing control of the only moment that matters. Few men speak of this, but it happens all the time. Someone cuts you off while driving a brief annoyance. Yet in your mind, the replay runs for 30 minutes after. You imagine confronting them, shouting, proving who's boss. You carry that weight into your next call, your next meeting, even dinner. The moment is gone, but your mind still drags it like a chain. That's how small things become heavy burdens you never learn to let go right then and there. Stoicism cuts through that mental chaos like a blade. It teaches you have only the present, and in this moment, there is no insult, no imagined outcome, no past to fix, only breath, action, and choice. Marcus Aurelius trained himself to return to now whenever his thoughts drifted. Each time, he reminded himself, you could leave this life right now. Let that reality guide what you do, say, and think, not tomorrow, not after you win the argument. Right now, The common trap is believing your thoughts are facts just because you think it doesn't make it true. Most of what you react to isn't real. It's imagination. Stoics know an unchecked mind is the source of needless suffering. Your imagination, if left unmanaged, conjures enemies that don't exist and conflicts never happened. Try this. You walk into a conversation with someone you dislike, expecting conflict and disrespect. That tension isn't from their words, but the future you've already built in your mind. Stop. Come back here. Stay in the moment. Maybe they'll be rude. Maybe not. Either way, you'll handle it better with a steady mind than a scattered one. That's why mindfulness isn't some empty buzzword. It's a tactical advantage, helping you keep your head clear when instinct wants to unleash chaos. You don't need to sit cross-legged for hours to achieve this. Simply notice your breath, your posture, the sounds around you, the feeling of your feet touching the ground. Whenever your mind starts weaving stories, pull it back here. Train your mind like a muscle to stay present. In doing so, you stop overreacting to things that aren't really happening. You stop reliving what cannot be changed. You stop repeating what doesn't need repeating. You begin to respond not from worry or fear, but from presence. That is where your peace lies. That is where your strength lives. You can't control what has happened. You can't control what hasn't yet come. But you control the now. And if you can hold on to the present, even for a few breaths, you're not just practicing Stoicism, you're living free. That's a power no one can take from you. 7. Let go of the burden of resentment before it ages you. Resentment doesn't just poison your mind, it wears down your body. You've seen it. A man who looks drained even after rest. A man who walks heavily though his shoulders carry no load. One who shrinks away from kindness because betrayal has taught him otherwise. That burden isn't physical, it's emotional. And the longer you hold on to anger, blame, and bitterness, the more your energy, clarity, and ability to feel lightness erode away. Most men don't even realize this is happening. They think silence means they've moved on. But silence doesn't heal. And just because you don't speak it aloud doesn't mean it's not shaping how you talk, trust, and live. The grudge you've held for 5 years weighs on you even in sleep. The way you snap when someone casually crosses a line. This is why the Stoics see forgiveness not as a moral duty, but as self-protection. Letting go isn't about making peace with what happened, it's refusing to let it keep controlling you. Every shred of resentment you clutch steals peace from your present, and no one deserves that power over your life. Not even the person who hurt you. Epictetus said, "You can chain my legs, but no one, not even Zeus, can conquer my will." That's forgiveness. Not acceptance or forgetting, but breaking your inner chains. Recall the moment someone crossed your boundary. Maybe they lied, walked away, or shamed you in front of others. You tell yourself you'll never forget. And maybe you won't. But every time you think of them, your stomach tightens. Your energy drops. Your peace slips away. That's not strength. That's self-inflicted suffering. You're reliving what they did, even though they've long forgotten. And that's the trap. Believing holding tight will protect you, when in truth, it weakens you. The Stoic doesn't cling to anger like armor. They drop it like a burning coal in their hand, knowing it scorches the holder most of all. Forgiveness doesn't mean trusting again. It means reclaiming space in your heart for something better, something lighter. It all begins with a decision. Stop feeding the story of what they did. Every time you replay the hurt, you deepen the wound. So stop rehearsing the pain. Start protecting your energy. Imagine you're in the break room. Someone makes a sarcastic remark. You know it's a jab. You can respond. You can carry it home. Talk it over with friends. Let it swirl in your mind late into the night. Or you can smile. Not because you're weak, but because you refuse to carry a burden that isn't yours. You breathe. You step outside and leave all that pressure behind. This isn't passivity. It's power under control. Knowing what deserves your energy and what doesn't. And as you begin to release resentment, you'll feel it in your stride, your sleep, your clarity of thought. Forgiveness isn't a favor to them. It's a gift to yourself. Let go not for their sake, but so you stop dragging the past into your present. You have more life ahead than behind. Make room for it, because the man who walks lightly moves faster, breathes deeper, and lives freer. And you can be that man if you're ready to set down the burden. 8. Pause before you react. That changes everything. It happens faster than you think. One word, one tone, one passing sentence, and you're almost shouting or slamming the door. When you realize you're angry, that reaction already owns you. Most men live on autopilot, triggered by external forces, stretched thin by internal pressure, and in the brief space between spark and flame, they lose their power. But what if that moment became where you took control? Stoicism begins in the pause, the space between event and your next move. That's the real battlefield, not arguments or insults. The true fight is in that breath, that tiny moment of choice. Will I react as always? Or will I respond as the man I want to become? Most don't see that gap. Emotion outruns reason. But once you do, you'll realize how much power you've surrendered and how often. Imagine you're at home. Your teenage son talks back to you. That tone, those eyes, they cut deep. You feel anger rising, but something holds you back. You take a breath and say, I'll respond in a moment. That is true strength, not silence born of fear, but deliberate self-control. You have just broken a cycle repeated for years in millions of homes, and now you're writing a new chapter. The mistake is believing that quick reactions earn respect. Hesitation is seen as weakness, but in those 2 seconds, you gain clarity. You give your mind the time to process, decide, and aim true. This is what the Stoics trained for, not numbness, but mastery over timing. Marcus Aurelius didn't say, don't feel. He said, don't act without a higher purpose. That purpose often begins with silence. We live in a world that demands instant replies. Instant défense, instant réaction. Yet emotional discipline isn't about speed. It's about precision, speaking at the right moment, with the right words, in the right tone. You can't do that if adrenaline commands you. You must pause, breathe, name the feeling before it becomes regret. No decades of meditation required, just one decision. When pressure hits, you stop. You tell yourself, I don't need to react right now. You step into another room, breathe deeply 10 times. You ask, what outcome do I want here? Only then do you speak. You act not from ego, but from intention. The Stoic man is not cold, but clear. He is not slow, but composed. He doesn't suppress his emotions. He commands them, because in that pause, he sees more. He sees consequences. He sees opportunity, and he steps into both with steady hands. From now on, treat every tense moment as training. When your heart races, your face flushes, your hands clench. Don't act. It's not time yet. Let the moment settle. Then choose how to master it. The man who controls the pause not only wins the argument, but conquers himself. That is a victory worth choosing again and again. Now you know. You are not a prisoner to your emotions. You are not bound by anger, resentment, or the urge to react. What the Stoics teach, what men like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus lived by, is that calmness isn't given, it's earned. Self-control isn't denial, it's discipline. And peace isn't weakness, it's strength forged in silence. We've explored how anger is a habit to break. Real power comes from self-mastery. And emotional calm is a muscle built through daily small choices. You've seen that letting go isn't surrender, but wisdom. Staying present is the best defense against pressure. And in every tense moment lies a pause where your character is forged. This isn't theory, it's your life. It shows in how you respond to your partner, hold your ground in meetings, quietly step away from chaos, and stand firm in your values. Every moment is an opportunity to practice. The more you do, the more natural it becomes. That's how you stop being shaken by everything and start becoming unbreakable. I invite you to begin today. Train your breath, hold your words, master the pause, and build a mind untouched by what's beyond your control. If this message resonates, share your story in the comments. What recent moment tested you? What did you learn from restraint? We learn by reflecting and grow by helping others do the same. Because ultimately, the man who masters himself, his thoughts, his reactions, his energy, is the man who truly masters his life. And that is enduring strength.